Hello designers, you're welcome back to another interesting tutorial. If you're just stopping by, please do well to subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload new video. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to pad your bustier correctly. In this video, this is a shoulder princess dart bustier. You can as well pad your armhole princess dart bustier with this technique. All you need is to follow the shape of your bustier. Okay, we also have one-on-one classes if you want to up your game on fashion designing. We have the bustier class. We have so many classes. Just WhatsApp the number you can see scrolling on the screen, then we will enroll you in our private class. For you to be able to pad your bustier correctly, then you will need to be able to draft a perfect bustier. Okay, so let's get right into today's video. I'll be using this laminated foam for the padding. This is a wadding. This is a soft wadding. You can also use a wadding, and we have three types of wadding. We have the soft wadding, we have the medium weight, and we also have the hard wadding. So whichever one you choose to use, it is still fine. If you choose to go for the wadding, it is fine. If you choose to use the laminated foam, it is fine. But in this video, I'm going to be using the laminated foam for today's tutorial. So the first thing you want to do is to locate the under bust of your cutout. Once you locate the under bust, make sure that the under bust part is straight. Okay, make sure that that part is straight, and we are going to be cutting this out following the shape that we have. Make sure this is placed on the under bust. Emphasis on the under bust. This is very, very important. So now we are going to cut this laminated foam following the shape of this our bustier. Another thing you want to take note of is your padding should stop on your upper bust line. I'm going to show this to you as we proceed in this video. Your cutout should not get to your neckline. It shouldn't get to your neckline for any reason. So I'm going to cut this out and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So even if you are doing the off-shoulder bustier, it is still the same technique. Your bustier should not, your padding should not get to your neckline. So you can see the way I removed my neckline from the padding. So we are going to be padding the sides. We've done the center front and we are moving over to padding the side. So I'm folding this into two because we have two sides. We have the right side, we also have the left side. So locate your under bust again and cut out following the shape of your bustier. So this time around, your bustier, like I said, should stop on the chest line. So if you don't know where your chest line is, you can mark it. Your chest line from your nipple point to your under bust, whatever the answer gives you is the same thing you will input from your nipple point to your upper bust. Okay. Now to get the accurate length to cut out for the side bust, add 1 inch to half of your nipple to nipple measurement. So for this, my nipple to nipple measurement is 8 inches. Half of that will be 4 inches. And I added extra 1 inch to that. And that gives me 5. So that's what I did here. I used 5 inches to cut out. Then I connected to the upper bust and also connected to the under bust. I hope that is explicit. So if yours is 3.5, add 1 inch extra to it. It's that simple. Then you cut it out. So I'm going to indicate this my arrow. The arrow is pointing upward, so I don't mistakenly turn this padding the other way round. So now this laminated foam I'm using does not have glue. So you can see where the neckline, the laminated foam stopped. You can see it did not get to the neckline. Your laminated foam or your wording, whichever one you are using, should stop on your chest line. It shouldn't get to your wording. It shouldn't get to your neckline, I mean. Now, this laminated foam does not have a glue to it, unlike the wording that comes with glue. But I think recently they've started producing laminated foam that has glue, but I've not bought that yet for now. So I'm just cutting my hemming gum and I'm placing this on the part that I will glue to the laminated foam. So you can place your laminated foam whichever way you like. You can place the white side on your fabric or the gray side. Just do what works fine for you. There's no glue on this laminated foam. But if you are using the one that comes with glue, then it is a must that you place the part that has glue on your fashion fabric. So because this laminated foam does not have glue, that is the reason why I used hemming gum to support it. So here I'm just making sure that the laminated foam is placed on my under bust correctly. So I'm
Now
going
I'm
to
going to
iron
use
this,
my
but before I
fabric
do, I will
to
use this piece
cover,
of fabric,
just a piece of
to
fabric to
cover
cover.
my fashion fabric so that it will not burn. So after I'm done ironing that, I'm going to be padding the side bustier, my side cutout. You can see me placing hemming gum on that as well because there is still no glue on this laminated foam. So once I'm done doing this, I will give it a good press as well. You can sprinkle a bit of water in case your iron is not a steam iron. So my steam iron stopped working. So now you can see me trimming the excess that came out from this padding. So after I'm done doing this, I'm just going to take it to my sewing machine and I'll sew this down. If you are a beginner, you want to sew this bustier slowly, or preferably mark out your ½ inch all round the part you'll be sewing on, so that you can sew on top of that stitch if you cannot eyeball your ½ inch. So make sure you use your pins to pin down in case you cannot handle it, because some people find this bustier part very difficult to join. So you can pin down, you can see my pin there, you can pin down and then you sew. So make sure you are sewing on exact ½ inch. I usually use ½ inch for my joining allowance. So if your own joining allowance is ¼ inches, sew down the quarter. If it's 0.75, sew down the 0.75. But personally, I use ½ inch for my joining allowance. So now I'm just going to raise the laminated foam and I'll trim out the laminated foam. Please note that I'm trimming only the laminated foam and not the main fabric. This is because this is to avoid bulk on the bust part. You don't want it to look too bulky. That's the reason why I'm trimming this out. So I'll do this for all the 4 sides. The next thing to do is to notch all the curvy part on this bustier. You can see this bustier part is curvy. So when you are notching, make sure you don't notch close to your seam. You don't want your seam to unravel. So the essence of notching this is so that it can relax when you are ironing. Okay? All these little tips and tricks matters a lot. So I'm using my breast ball to iron. This is very important. If you don't have money to buy the breast ham, you can make your own breast ham from the comfort of your home. Like this breast ham I'm using, I made it myself using pieces of fabrics. Just form pieces of fabric and form it into a ball. That's simply what I did there. Once you get the exact size you want, you can now stop padding the ball. So make sure you have your own ball so that you can use it to iron your bustier. You cannot iron your bustier on a flat surface. So once you are done with that, just place your hairstay on top of your seam allowance and iron it down like so. This will keep it in place. This step is very important. Please don't skip it. This step is very important. Just take pieces of hairstay and just cover your seam allowance up. You can stop on the under bust line. But because this fabric I'm working on is a brocade fabric and it frays a lot, so I decided to cover all the seam allowance. Otherwise, you can just cover only the curvy part alone. So now this is how the front looks. Place your ball back, and now we are going to give this a good press. Go ahead and cover the breast part with your fabric, with a piece of fabric. Sprinkle water if your iron does not steam. My iron is a steam iron, but it stopped steaming, so I have to continue with what I know by using small water. So this is important. So if your iron is not a steam iron, just sprinkle a bit of water on it. So you can iron your bustier directly without covering it, but I prefer to cover mine when I'm ironing this bustier part. The reason is because sometimes the iron can leave stain on the bust part, and that is what you don't want. Okay, and another reason is so that it will not burn. Before it will burn your main fashion fabric, it will burn the pieces. So you can now stop and check what you are doing. So it's better to always cover the bust part with a piece of fabric when you are pressing. So now just look at what we have here. Look at the part that is ironed and look at the part that is not ironed. You can see these little things makes a very big difference. See, this one is not ironed. See, this other part is ironed. You can see how it's relaxed and flat. So now we are going to work on this other side. Ironing is very important in fashion designing. It is an attribute of a neat tailor. You cannot compare the work of somebody that took her time to iron, and then you cannot compare it with somebody that did not press their fabric while sewing. The difference is always clear. The difference is always clear. So make sure you press. You can see the way I'm pressing this bustier. I'm pressing this sideways. I'm not just placing it on the sewn part. Oh. I'm pressing it sideways. You can see sideways. So I'll continue to press until I'm satisfied with what I have. So use your other hand to hold the ball firmly. The ball I placed under the bustier to iron, hold it down firmly. You can see me holding that down firmly, then press sideways. Once you are done pressing the curvy part of your bustier, press the sides as you can see. Press the sides down. Now you can see that my bustier is giving what it should be giving. The finishing is sweeting me. So this is what I expect. This is how I expect your bustier to look when you are making yours. So now you can go ahead and turn the neckline of your bustier after you are done pressing it perfectly like this. You can see how mine is sitting beautifully with my lining piece. Don't forget to WhatsApp the number on the screen and join our online private classes and up your fashion game. I will see you in class. Ciao.